And she's just an amazing artist. The more we learn about her, you know, the more, you know, you're like, oh my God, she really is that amazing.
Yeah.
Be strong.
What's up, J2R family? We're back again. I'm Johnny.
I'm Jeremiah.
And today we got another Taylor Swift video for you guys. So this is made for us by one of our Patreons. They put together a collaboration of, looks like, interviews and stuff like that of Taylor Swift. So we're going to be watching it and checking it out. And I think it's going to be like maybe people's opinions or something like that, because we just skimmed through it real quick just to see kind of what's in there. And then it looks like she's making a song or something like that on the later half of the video. So we thought it'd be really cool to check this out because we're really interested in learning more about Taylor Swift. So you got any ideas on this?
Not really any ideas. We did skim through like the video, and it seemed like at the end she was kind of like making a little bit of music and everything like that. So I'm really excited to see like what music she's making, and like how she makes the music and everything, to see how that goes. But obviously there's like opinions in here, interviews as well, like Johnny said. So I just want to see like what people say about her and everything like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm hoping that there's like some good stuff in here and not just all bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm hoping that there's actually like good enough people in the world to actually like sit there and like defend Taylor Swift, you know what I'm saying, rather than sit there and talk bad about her name and stuff like that. So, but I guess we'll see what happens. We'll hop into the video.
Let's do it.
Curious, what is it about Taylor that makes her so special? I just think that she is a unique, special talent. What's Jack's perspective on it?
The easiest answer is that she is a brilliant songwriter, which is the title that is given to a lot of people, but very few of them are.
Yeah.
So it's not about comparing, but there's not many people in her position that actually do it like she does. She wants to tell a story, she sits down and writes it. She's also a brilliant producer and has a brilliant singer, has all these ideas, but the core of it, I think the core of what completely separates her from the pack is she doesn't need anything or anyone to craft a song, and
That's crazy.
I think
I
that's
definitely
why
agree with that. Yeah,
all different eras of her and the way she moves into different genres. The rock is her song. And I think on this latest album, that's becoming more and more evident to people. It's always been evident to the fans, but you know, because that's all it is, a person who can sit down and take themselves, put it into a song. It's so simple, yet there's so few people who can do it the way she can do it. So I mean, you could go on about her forever because there's so many fascinating angles of what she does, but she's a songwriter in the truest sense.
And then yeah, we finished this song pretty much.
That's awesome to actually get a different perspective about it. It's fucking awesome.
And dinner at the same time. She was writing all the words and all the melody. I honestly didn't write the words and melody, but I did help. You know, I pulled the music together around it, and we discussed like a bit of direction here and there. But really, she actually wrote the song, and I.
So she was writing the song where they were having dinner. I mean, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Very talented.
No artist I've ever written with in my career has contributed more of the actual song than Taylor Swift to a writing session. Taylor contributed so much so quickly that for the first time and only time, I actually felt bad for my share. I was like, God, I don't even know if I earned what I did. She'll send you a voice memo the night before saying, so I just sat down and I was thinking, and she's literally talking on the voice memo like this, and I was thinking maybe something kind of like this. Welcome to New York, it's been waiting for you. You know, she literally goes into the song, and I'm like,
that's fucking awesome.
What do you mean something like that's the whole song?
That's fucking dope, bro.
Okay, so it is 8:30 in the morning. And why am I awake, you ask? Well, it's kind of a long story. I sort of unexpectedly started writing the new album. And at that point, I was just like, oh, I'm just writing songs in quarantine. And then
that's awesome.
That's fucking dope.
It just became an album really quickly and really, really kind of beautifully, surprisingly. And so You can't go into studios now because they're all closed, and I've never recorded anywhere else. And I know that other people do this all the time, so it's actually not that special, but I'm freaking out over it. We've built a home studio in my house, and so it's like I'm gonna do vocals today in my house.
That's really cool.
I'm very excited about it. Okay, so over there is where my recording booth is, and then on the other side of the wall, Laura! Hey. Yeah. Jack? Holy shit.
I'm really surprised that she didn't build like
You're right there, but instead you're
a real booth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm freaking out. We've never done this.
That was probably what she was able to get, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
This is crazy.
She got some moving blankets and...
Which I actually see a lot of people use those moving blankets. They actually say they're like soundproof. That's crazy.
First day we've been in the same room.
Cheers. Yeah.
First moment.
That's so weird. I think when lockdown happened, I just found myself completely listless and purposeless, and that was in the first 3 days of it. And then I remembered when we met a year before, and I'd come to the national show, and afterward you would come up and talk to me, and you were so nice. And I was like, how do you guys write songs? And you were like, well, we all live in different places, so sometimes I'll just make tracks and send them around and send them to Matt. And I just kind of thought to myself, if there was ever an opportunity to work with someone that I was such a fan of who could work like that, that would be so cool. And then lockdown happened, and I texted you, and I was like, hey, would you ever want to work? Are you in that place right now?
And
That's crazy.
I don't know if this is a real team.
That's pretty funny.
Like a friend.
Well, I was like, is someone pretending? You know.
I feel like it's also one of the reasons why it resonates with me so much is because in the dismantling of all of our systems of life that we've known in the pandemic, you're left with two options. Either to cling to it and try to make it work, or to just say, well, I guess I'm just going to chart a new path and kind of get a frontier mentality. And I think it was such like a thrilling use of quarantine to say like, well, everything's a blur, so I'm just going to rewrite it.
Yeah. I didn't even tell my label until a week before we put it out.
What was that
it
call like?
existed. It
That's
was
crazy.
amazing. I thought it was going to be stressful, and I thought I was going to have to kind of stand up like with shaking hands, being like, I promise I know what I'm doing. I know that there's not like a big single, and I'm not doing like a big pop thing, and I'm not, but my label was like, whatever you want to make, like, we're down.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that really is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
I was surprised it was a
think
bitch
it's
or
really
nothing.
important that we play it.
Yeah.
I think it will take that for me to realize that it's a real album. Seems like a big mirage.
It does. Never worked on an album like this.
Me neither.
That's fucking
I don't
awesome.
know if I ever will again. Like, I don't know if it's how albums are meant to be made. It just worked right now.
There's something about the complete and total uncertainty about life that causes endless anxiety, but there's another part that causes sort of a release of the pressures that you used to feel.
Even the way she talks, you can tell she's a fucking songwriter.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to have to recalibrate everything. We should start with what we love the most first. And I think that was what we were sort of unconsciously doing with this.
Totally. That is so it, exactly. If everything's going to fall apart, then make a record.
And I was so glad that we did, because it turned out that like everybody needed a good cry as well as us.
This is me
I've been
trying.
thinking about addiction, and I've been thinking about people who, if they're either suffering through mental illness or they're suffering through addiction, or they have an everyday struggle. No one pats them on the back every day, but every day they are actively fighting something. But there are so many days that nobody gives them credit for that.
Yeah.
And so how often must somebody who's in that sort of internal struggle must want to say to everyone in the room, you have no idea how close I am to going back to a dark place, or you have no idea.
You have no idea how hard it is to get to the point where you guys think is still shitty.
Yes.
Like, I think about that a lot, like the idea of doing your best or trying is one that only a person knows, and you know when you're doing it. And it's so hard, which is what I get from that song, when you're doing your damn best and it's not good enough.
Yep.
And it rarely is.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, and then it's a very isolating feeling, which I think is funny because it actually is the thing that binds all of us, is we're all like doing our best and feeling like it's not even close to good enough.
Yeah, I had this idea that the first verse would be about someone who is in a sort of a life crisis and has just been trying and failing in their relationship, has been, you know, messing things up with people they love, has been letting everyone down, and kind of has driven to this overlook, this cliff, and is just in the car going, I could do whatever I want in this moment and it could affect everything forever. But this person backs up and drives home, and
Yeah, I love that. The idea that not driving off the cliff is an act of trying.
Yeah.
Which is almost the ultimate act.
It's crazy how she comes up with stuff like
and
this.
then the second verse is about, you know, someone who felt like they had a lot of potential in their life. I think there are a lot of mechanisms for us in our school days, in high school or college, to excel and to be patted on the back for something. And then I think a lot of people get out of school and there are less abilities for them to get gold stars.
Yeah.
And then you have to make all these decisions and you have to pave your own way, and there's no set class course you can take, and and I think a lot of people feel really swept up in that. And so I was thinking about this person who is really lost in life and then starts drinking, and every second is trying not to.
Yeah.
And you can like almost see the emotion in her eyes when she's talking about it.
Yeah, she looks like she's about to cry.
Yeah.
I've been having a hard time adjusting. I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting. I didn't know if you'd care if I came back. I have a lot of regrets about that. Pulled the car off the road to the lookout. Could have followed my fears all the way down. And baby, I don't quite know what to say, but I'm here in your doorway. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying.
It's a beautiful
I
song.
just wanted you to know that this is me trying.
Emotion.
They told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. And my words shoot to kill when I'm mad. I have a lot of regrets about that. I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. Fell behind all my classmates and I ended up here, pouring out my heart to a stranger, but I didn't pour the whiskey. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying.
Bro, it's a good ass song, bro.
I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. At least I'm trying. And it's hard to be at a party when I feel like an open wound. It's hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. You're a flashback and a film reel on the one screen in my town. And I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. At least I'm trying.
Bro, That's crazy, man. The emotion in her face and just like the way she sounds, that's beautiful.
It was really amazing how they did this.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Track 6, Mirrorball.
In folklore, there are a lot of songs that reference.
This is pretty cool, bro, because it's like you get an insight of the song before she even sings it, and then she goes and she records it.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
Then being referenced again in Mirrorball, which is I've never been a natural. All I do is try.
Yeah, I remember that being an interesting one for you to actually put down. I remember you said it and you did it, and then you were like, "Should I say that? Should I?"
I was like, "Is that too true? Is that?" And I think with Mirrorball, sometimes when I'm writing to an instrumental track, I'll push play and I'll immediately see a scene set. And this was one of those cases where I just saw, you know, lonely disco ball, twinkly lights, neon signs, people drinking beer by the bar, a couple of stragglers on the dance floor, just sort of a sad, moonlit, lonely experience in the middle of a town that you've never been. And I just was thinking, okay, so we have mirror balls in the middle of a dance floor because they reflect light. They are broken a million times, and that's what makes them so shiny. We have people like that in society.
That's a real way to think of it.
There, and every time they break, it entertains us.
Yeah.
And when you shine a light on them, it's this glittering, fantastic thing. But then, a lot of the time, when the spotlight isn't on them, they're just still there up on a pedestal, but nobody's watching them.
Well, it's a myth we love, and then we create it for people.
Yeah, it's the whole
like do the broken thing, make it fun. Now make it sad.
Yeah,
now make it cool. Now make it sad.
Yeah, but when the light's off, be okay.
Yeah.
It was a metaphor for celebrity, but it's also a metaphor for so many people who have to feel like everybody feels like they have to be on for certain people. You have to be different versions of yourself for different people, different versions at work, different versions around friends, different versions of yourself around different friends, different version of yourself around family, around, you know, everybody has to be duplicitous.
Duplicitous.
Or feels like they have to.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
And that's part of the human experience, but it's also exhausting. And you kind of learn that every one of us has the ability to become a shapeshifter.
Totally.
But what does that do to us?
Bro, the way she explains this shit's crazy.
And one of the only times that the time that we're living through was actually lyrically addressed. I think that, you know, the pandemic and lockdown and all that runs through this album like a thread, because it's an album that allows you to feel your feelings, and it's a product of isolation. It's a product of all this, you know, rumination.
I feel like her mind is like 20 steps ahead of where she's talking right now.
What we are as humans, blah, blah, blah. But this is the first time in the bridge saying they called off the circus, burned the disco down when they sent home the horses and the rodeo clowns. I wrote this song right after I found out all my shows were canceled. And it's like I'm still on that tightrope. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. So it's like I realized here I am writing all this music, still trying, and I know I have an excuse to sit back and not do something, but I'm not, and I can't, and I don't know why
you don't
that
get
is.
it. But that's what makes it, to me, a great piece of pandemic time work, is that it's not about the pandemic, it's about the experience of what happens to an artist when you're living through a pandemic.
Yeah, you start there, you start
to dream.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, these guys are multi-talented too, so is Taylor Swift.
You'll find me on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love shining just for you. Hush, I know they said the end is near, but I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love shining just for you. I want you to know I'm a mirror ball. I can change everything about me to fit in you. I'm not like the regulars, the masquerade revelers, drunk as they watch my shattered edges glisten. Hush, when no one is around, my dear.
I don't know how she be coming up this shit, bro.
You'll find me
That's
on
crazy.
my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love shining just for you. Hush,
The lyrics have like so much feeling to them.
Yeah.
But I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love shining just for you. And they called off the circus, burned the disco down, when they sent home the horses and the rodeo clowns. I'm still on that tightrope, I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me.
I like the way she just express laughing.
But I don't know why. I've never been a natural. All I do is try. I'm still on that trapeze. I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me. Because I'm a mirror ball. I'm a mirror ball. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful, bro. Beautiful.
That's just amazing how she comes up with stuff like that. The way she comes up with it, the way she explains it to us, the metaphors she uses. It's just insane how her mind thinks. It really is. I'd have never thought, you know, to say Mirrorball and the way she uses the metaphor.
Yeah.
That was just really amazing. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like her mind is like 20 steps ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just like the way she explained it and then like went and recorded the song, it was just amazing. It really was. And it's crazy too because like I feel like most artists would like use like a lot of like lyrics in their song to maybe explain their song. But she didn't. Like she literally like broke it down to piece by piece. You know what I'm saying? What the song is about, and then sat there and recorded it. And like the emotion that she puts into the music and everything like that is just amazing. You can see the emotion on her face. You can hear it in her voice, and then you can just see like how passionate she really is about this. You know what I mean? Like I agree with the guy. Like the guy that's like sitting there. He was interviewing her, I guess you could say. That she is like probably the most amazing like artist to like work with. You know what I'm saying? She is like a real songwriter. You know what I'm saying? Most of these artists out there, you can even like look it up too. Like most of these songwriters that you like see or whatever, if you like go like on like I don't know like Apple Music for instance, like you can just search up like one of your favorite artists, and if you go into like the lyrics and it says like who it's like made by or who written by, usually it's like 4 or 5 people. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just insane. You know what I'm saying? Like all these artists out there aren't really artists. You know what I'm saying? They don't write their own music and everything like that. But I mean, she's even breaking down like what her songs are about and everything, showing you that she's writing this music. You know what I mean? And for her to sit there and like pretty much clap back like that, like through COVID and everything, and just like make this album and be like, well, I was just writing, and she just kept writing or whatever, and it just became an album. I'm like, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just for you to like just sit there and just keep writing and writing, and for you to just hear something, just something come to like your head, and you just start writing to it. It's pure talent. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what a songwriter is all about. She's like amazing songwriter, amazing artist. She has an amazing voice. I mean, she literally does everything. She can play the guitar. I think she can play the piano too as well, I want to say. But she's just amazing. She really, really is. What do you think, John?
It's just really cool to, like, you know, the guy said in the beginning that she doesn't need anything to create a song. Yeah. She does it completely by herself. She can just pull out a guitar, get a piano or whatever. She writes it right there in her mind just because she thought of something. She had a thought, and it just rolls into a complete song. And like she said in one of the parts there where she was talking, that she gets a vision of a set.
Yeah.
Of like almost like what the video would be like right in her head as soon as she comes up with one of the first line of the song. She just gets a visual of what the set would look like, and that's crazy. That's just, it keeps it going for her. And like I said, I think in her head she's like 20, 30 steps ahead of where she's talking from.
Yeah.
You know, she's still talking back here because her mouth can't catch up with her head, and so she's just so far ahead of her in her head that her imagination just keeps working like crazy. And she's just an amazing artist. The more we learn about her, you know, the more, you know, you're like, oh my God, she really is that amazing. Because we don't know all this stuff about Taylor. So this is all like new stuff to us, but it's really cool to learn about her. It really is.
Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not part of J2R family, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Patreon.